Hello and welcome to the short series of snippets on how to do certain tasks, certain administrative tasks in Active Directory. So in the previous video, we just explored the theoretical point of view of what the Active Directory user and computers snapping is used for. So I'm just going to go to Windows Administrative Tools. So we're on the server now, we're logging into the domain controller. So we'll go to Active Directory users and computers. So in this snapping, we have the tree. So at the left pane, we have the tree, and it starts with, the whole users and computers snapping, and you have the forest, which is a structure as we set it up during the lab. So when you break this down, this is the tree, and we have some default OUs like domain controllers, and we have users groups. So in this small snippet, we want to learn how to create users, which is very straightforward. So to create a user, all you have to do is to right click on the users group and go to new and go to user. And when you're creating a new user, some basic information is normally needed. So this user, for instance, we'll give it something very realistic. So let's give it the first name, say John, and the last name would be Fergal. So John Fergal, and the logon name would be John.Fergal. So normally it's best practice in proper IT environments or any organization to normally have the user logon names to be first name dot surnames, or it could be the first letter of the name, say J Fergal. But ideally, a lot of traditional IT departments would go with John.Fergal, which is okay. So we would go with John.Fergal. If we had linked our domain to this Active Directory, we could have just gone for maybe abstraction.com or whatever domain that we have set up for this, but we are not really going through the high level of configuration. We just keep things simple. So we'll keep this as John Fergal and click next, and we are asked for a password. So normally you have to set a default password, which you then share with the user who is going to start working with the company or whoever is needing the account. And it's going to be based on the IT department's policy whether the user must change the password at next logon or not, or you'd have to manually assist the user to reset the password. So I'm just going to set up this password. And if it's a system account that you need to use for something that's going to be cycled through the department, like the IT department, probably a system account that's going to be used to run some services on default. And those accounts, for instance, since they are not really a user-based accounts, if you're creating a user account for those kind of use cases, you might just create the user account and maybe leave it as password never expires, and probably have a very strong password and save it somewhere. So I would use this. I would keep this ticked, and I will click next. And this is going to be the summary: John.Fergal at abstraction.local. That's going to be the logon name. And this user must change the password as next logon. That's what we ticked. So I'll click finish. And we have John.Fergal here. Now, that's how you create a user. I'm just going to create another user, new, and I'll just click user. Now, another quick way to quickly create user accounts would probably be to copy an already existing user account. So for instance, this is John.Fergal. I could just copy this, and it will copy whatever configurations, whatever modifications I've done to the user profile or user account, and then it would just allow me to change the name and then keep everything across. Obviously, I haven't done any high level of modification for John Fergal, so it wouldn't really make sense to copy. So assuming if we furtherly modify John Fergal's profile, say the description here is the HR, no, and let's say marketing manager, and his office is in Dublin, and his phone number is say 82854-85795 supposedly. The email address would be john.virgo at, let's say, axtracia.com, let's say. Now we have his logon name here, and this is ticked because we left it as such. Profile, telephones, and we'll keep this as blank. Organization, let's say it's job title, we'll repeat that. Marketing manager. Department, say sales department, sales and marketing. Company Straxia. And let's say he's a manager, so let's say he doesn't report to anyone. And we'll leave this for now. So assuming we have another user that we need to create, you can just copy John's account, and maybe this is Tracy Milan, and the user logon name is Tracy Milan, so it's usually Tracy.Milan, first name dot surname. And then we'll click next, and we'll set the password. We'll leave this ticked as well, and we'll just click next and finish. So when we go to Tracy's account, actually no, that didn't work. Well, you see, it actually copied over certain things like the department and the company, because obviously you can't copy over someone's job title. So if John has been a member of certain groups, those groups would have copied as well, but we'll explore that as well in other videos. This purpose of the video is just to show you how to create users in Active Directory. But you'd realize that because I just created a user in this group, it has been added to all these other users, which are the system built in. Hence the essence of having a better clustering or classification of users that would lead to you creating groups and organizational units, which we would also explore in the next subsequent videos. So we just explored how to create a user, set a user's password, and manage the user's profile. So you normally just modify the profile, go to properties, and fill in whatever details that's needed to set in. And then that's basically how you go about it. So I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.